Somebody, sometime, broke my wife's favourite tool, and I couldn't find a handle anywhere in the world, so I cut this little piece of wood out of a branch after a storm. So beautiful that I'm going to coat it in epoxy, and I've discovered that if you use epoxy and put it on, it'll weep or flow forever, and it won't dry in a nice smooth finish. So what I want to do is put this in a rotisserie thing and just keep it spinning. I actually bought a rotisserie motor. That's what it's called, a rotisserie motor. They're made in China to strict specifications of gas mate people. It's a 240 volt one, you know. So all I have to do is make something to put it on. Can you see it all right? Yep, okay. So I removed these two off here by pulling them, and I just have to mount this almost over the top of that one. So little Zachy just pulled the camera over with the rope down there. So that's mounted. A little bit of tape's there to hold the hole above the brackets. That's what happens when you hold it when the liquid comes out. You've got to hold it vertically. It's a nice colour. Now I can mount it. Firstly, going to make a pilot hole for the big end, for the big screw. I'll make that sort of straight up and down perfectly, exactly in the middle. Oh, I'll have to tighten it. Ow. Right, try it now. So I drilled a bigger starting hole. It's going in a bit better. I'm going to drill a smaller hole the other end and put a smaller screw in, and then take it out and put it in when I get the bracket on. So that one, that end's okay. I just have to put this end in the right place, so I have to unscrew. Then I have to put the screw through a hole. I'll have that in a fair way. Where's my lens poking? There. Wrong way. Good. Up there, and that should be enough. Okay. Just plug it in so it happens. Switch on. There it goes. Isn't that beautiful? So I'll be using a mixing cup similar to this, but I just thought I'd show you. I don't throw them out. I just keep them, and they're very strong. You can actually break the old resin because it's not connected to anything like wood or cloth, fiberglass. And, you know, you can use them again. So I can rip my rubbish bag. It's gone. I had about 50 of these before I started, I think, the previous boat. There's a few left. They're not dear. Sorry about this, having a broken proper camera. I've got to use the phone. So what we normally do, this is a tin of resin, which I'll have to open a bit, hopefully. Don't get any on the fingers yet. Those are very cheap. They're disposable. This one here is the resin. And then I'm a little bit short of 100, which is stick. Don't Don't splash myself. There. Take this syringe. How much have I got? Don't know. 2 minutes, yeah, count. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, don't go too fast. Create air bubbles and they won't go away. Now make sure you do the very edge of the container as well as in the middle. I'm just going to scrape this off on the wood, the mixer. Like fill. They're starting to thicken up already. Just fill all these You don't clean brushes because it costs a lot of acetone and the brushes can be bought cheap. This one, it'll set at the same speed as the wood. Now I can remove another layer. This is the giant battery I bought for the little camera. That little camera there, to make it run for a long time. The trouble is it's so heavy, every time it falls over, this breaks off, and that's all that's holding it onto the camera. I've already glued it once or twice before. The actual battery that came with the camera, it's only good for about 20 minutes, I think. Last night I bought 2 batteries. So sadly, a couple of days later, I discovered that so what I'm saying, it is full of spikes. Can you see those spikes? I don't know where they came from. Pardon me. I don't know where they came from, but I'm going to have to file them off and sand it and then recoat it. I've done some filing. That's what it looks like. No more bumps. No more sharp bits except for that one. Remember, 60 strokes a minute. Hacksaws and files. A P60 first, then a P240, and then I can recoat it after I wash it with acetone. So that's what it looks like after the sanding, and then I will wipe it with acetone. This will also soften the first coat. This is a mixing cup I used the other day. It's got a little bit of how strong it is. A little bit of resin left in there, but I can use it again. I'll just put this in the bag. So this is how she ended up after the third coat. I think it's just about, it's not just a bit tacky. but there's no more spikes, and it looks smooth and shiny. Here's the battery. There is the battery, glued with epoxy, 2-pack epoxy. So finally, after taping up below the head, I filled it with resin, so it may or may not fall off. But then I noticed something else. There's a bit of a ridge. Where is it? It's all the way down here, the ridge. It somehow leaked through the tape, got on a projecting piece, and then dripped onto here, dribbled onto here, right down to the end. So now I have to sand that off and give it one last coat. Then it'll be all done. Wonderful.